Welcome to Release to Results. This is our series going through the Course in Miracles workbook, one lesson at a time, and releasing the energy that comes up for us as we go through the lessons. These lessons should and do bring up a whole lot of stuck, stagnant energy that we've been carrying. And it's a great opportunity to let go, to surrender, to release. Today's lesson is lesson 26. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. So as we go through these situations with we're concerned, we're worried about, that we've got some depression with, some foreboding, some fear, some preoccupation, we'll just allow as best we can the energy, the feeling that we've been carrying behind all these thoughts about this that are attacking our invulnerability, that it seems like we're vulnerable with. We'll go behind that. We'll allow this energy to come up and we'll just let go. We'll release one little bit at a time. So, to begin, could you just close your eyes and take a look at my attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability? So, could you allow a situation which you've been dwelling on in thought that seems unresolved, which you're concerned with, to come to mind? And could you notice that there's maybe several things which you're concerned about or you think might happen, which are negative? What might happen that wouldn't be good, to put it simply, that you wouldn't like in this situation? And to begin, could you notice, I'm concerned with this situation? Could you just notice that you're worried or concerned or preoccupied with this situation? And could you allow yourself to feel what you're feeling behind the thoughts about it? Just letting the thoughts scroll by without clicking on them. Could you feel the energy that's accumulated there that all of these thoughts would flow to? And just dive into that energy. Could you allow yourself to feel that feeling for but a moment? And could you let it go? Would you let it go? It's just a choice, and yes or no is fine. When could you let it go? And in this situation, which you're concerned, worried about, or preoccupied with, what's one of the things you're afraid or worried might happen? And to allow the energy to come up, to move, to allow it to begin to release, could you just be honest without judging or moralizing about what's coming up for you? Oh, yeah, I seem to be afraid that this will happen, worried that this will happen. And could you go behind the thoughts? Could you just ignore the thoughts to allow yourself to welcome the energy to your awareness, to your feeling? Could you open up and welcome the energy behind all the chatter and noise in the mind. And could you let feeling happen? Let it flow. Welcome what's happening for you as best you can. And could you release any of this feeling or all of it? Would you release this feeling if you could? When could you release the sense that you are vulnerable? It's always just an option. You never have to, you're free. And in that freedom, sometimes we just misuse this power of thought. Could you notice another thing in this situation you're concerned about that you're afraid might happen, worried about, predicting something you don't want? And whether it's true or not, could you go behind the thinkingness and feel the feeling, the driver behind those thoughts? Could you embrace the feeling and let the thoughts drift by? Could you notice and feel that feeling? And could you surrender this feeling? Give it up. Would you surrender this feeling? Turn it over, whether it stays or whether it goes. Just surrender it. When could you surrender this sense of vulnerability? And in the situation you're concerned about, worried about, could you notice something else that you're afraid might happen or will happen? What are you preoccupied with, fearing, worried about? What are you afraid might happen? And just being honest, it's okay. And could you notice there's a feeling that's running as I'm afraid about that? And you might even notice where that feeling seems to be sitting in this body. Could you dive into the feeling? Just letting the thoughts drift by without following them. Diving into the feeling more. And anytime, maybe just for now, could you let it go? Would you let it go? It's always okay to hold on to it or to let it go. It's just a yes or a no. When could you let go of being afraid that this might happen? Any sense of a vulnerability? And I'm concerned about this. What's that situation you've been concerned about, preoccupied with? You're concerned about the outcome. And what does it seem like might happen that's negative that you don't want to happen? What have you been thinking about, worried about, might happen in this situation? And that's okay. Without judging or moralizing about it, if you just notice, oh, yeah, I've been afraid of this happening. I seem vulnerable. And could you notice what that feels like? Not the thoughts about what the feeling is, just feeling it. And could you open up and allow yourself to feel it? Could you even make that feeling bigger? If there's been some of this energy stuck in your field, could you even open up more, feel it more? A sense of vulnerability. And could you release this sense of vulnerability, this feeling? Would you release it if you could? Being vulnerable? When could you release predicting problems and being vulnerable? And what was it that you were concerned about? You might not remember it if you've released. Oh, there might still be there. What were you concerned about? And what's another distressing possibility that might happen? Is there anything you're afraid will happen in this situation? And without making good or bad of that, could you just notice, acknowledge, and allow the feeling that's there for you? Behind all the thinkingness, these sounds, pictures in the mind, could you allow yourself to feel the feeling so it can begin to release? Could you just surrender what's coming up for you? Could you welcome what you're discovering you've been carrying, this feeling, and just be surrendering as it comes up, as you welcome it? It's just sitting with a feeling. It's just surrendering to what seems to be there, turning it over. And could you surrender this vulnerability, this distress? Would you surrender this vulnerability, this distress, if you could? When could you surrender? And maybe it stays, maybe it goes. That's surrender. Just some accumulated energy here around this situation. Seems like it's about the situation. And it takes what it takes. What was that situation, or what is that situation you're concerned about? And what does it seem like might go wrong? What do you not want to happen that you're worried about, thinking about? And could it just be okay to be worried about it or afraid something will happen? And could you go behind the thinkingness and notice the feeling that's been carried that this thinkingness would flow to? Could you feel the feeling behind all these thoughts? Could you allow the feeling? Let it be felt, let it unstick, let it move. And could you release, let go? Would you release it? You're free. Just a yes or a no. When could you release this seeming vulnerability, this fear? That thought is an attack upon myself. Oh, I've been attacking myself with these thoughts. My attack thoughts are attacking my invulnerability. Could you let go, surrender, give up these attack thoughts upon yourself, attacking your invulnerability? Not by making wrong of them, trying to run from them, stuff them away, brush them away, just by noticing them, allowing the energy to come up, and releasing it. Once the energy is released, all these attack thoughts will stop. Don't take my word for it. Just continue releasing. You can actually take any situation that you're concerned about and go through this again and allow that situation's energy to come up. Release it and let it go. There's a whole lot we've been carrying. And if you want to release a whole lot that you've been carrying, lighten up your load, then please come join us at releasetoresults.com. Just for signing up today, you'll get 14 days free access to our 100 plus live sessions every month, hundreds of replays of these sessions. You'll get access to our community of people who are committed to releasing, to going free, to being free. And I'll even send you for free, as long as I've got them, the 3 books we use in our mastery sessions: Letting Go the Pathway of Surrender, the Sedona Method, and Transcending the Levels of Consciousness. I'm committed to unlocking greater happiness and freedom in your life, in any area. And if you show up, I'll be there for you, and you'll be there for us. As we release, we're releasing for the all, for the whole field. Come join us at releasetoresults.com today. We'll be so happy to see you in the live sessions, and keep on checking us out every day, 8:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, for these A Course in Miracles lessons releases. Have the best day you can. Thanks for watching.